أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. Allah's one, has no partners. أشهد أن محمد رسول الله. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is the conclusion of Surah 26, ash-Shu'ara, verse 136 to 227. I seek refuge in Allah from the devil the accursed. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. They said, "It is all the same to us whether you advise or are not of the advisers. It is not but the custom of the former peoples, and we are not to be punished." And they denied him, so we destroyed them. Indeed, and that is a sign, but most of them were not to be believers. And indeed your Lord, He is the exalted in might, the merciful. Thamud denied the messengers, but when their brother Salih said to them, "Will you not fear Allah? Indeed, I am to you a trustworthy messenger, so fear Allah and obey me. And I do not ask you for it any payment. My payment is only from the Lord of the worlds. Will you be left in what is here, secure from death, within gardens and springs, and fields and crops, and fields of crops and palm trees with softened fruit? And you carve out of the mountains homes with skill. So fear Allah and obey me, and do not obey the order of the transgressors, who cause corruption in the land and do not amend." They said, "You are only of those affected by magic, but you are only of those affected by magic. You are but a man like ourselves, so bring a sign if you should be of the truthful." He said, "This is a she-camel. For her is a time of drink, and for you is a time of drink, each on a known day. And do not touch her with harm, lest you be seized by the punishment of a terrible day." But they hamstrung her, and so became regretful, and the punishment seized them. Indeed, and that is a sign, but most of them were not to be believers. And indeed your Lord, He is the exalted in might, the merciful. The people of Lot denied the messengers, when their brother Lot said to them, "Will you not fear Allah? Indeed, I am to you a trustworthy messenger. So fear Allah and obey me. I do not ask you for it any payment. My payment is only from the Lord of the worlds. Do you approach males among the worlds, and leave what your Lord has created for you as mates? But you are a people transgressing." They said, "If you do not desist on Allah, you will surely be of those evicted." He said, "Indeed, I am toward your deed of those who detest it. My Lord, save me and my family from the consequence of what they do." So we saved him and his family all, except an old woman among those who remained behind. Then we destroyed the others, and we rained upon them a rain of stones, and evil was the rain of those who were warned. Indeed, and that is a sign, but most of them were not to be believers. And indeed your Lord, He is the exalted in might, the merciful. The companions of the thicket, the people of Midian, denied the messengers, when Su'aib said to them, "Will you not fear Allah? Indeed, I am to you a trustworthy messenger. So fear Allah and obey me. And I do not ask you for it any payment. My payment is only from the Lord of the worlds. Give full measure, and do not be of those who cause loss. And weigh with an even, honest balance. And do not deprive people of their due, and do not commit abuse on the earth, spreading corruption. And fear He who created you and the former creation." They said, "You are only of those affected by magic. You are but a man like ourselves, and indeed we think you are among the liars. So cause to fall upon us fragments of the sky, if you should be of the truthful." He said, "My Lord is most knowing of what you do." And they denied Him. So the punishment of the day of the black cloud seized them. Indeed, it was the punishment of a terrible day. Indeed, and that is a sign, but most of them were not to be believers. And indeed your Lord, He is the exalted in might, the merciful. And indeed the Quran, is the revelation of the Lord of the worlds. The trustworthy spirit, Gabriel, brought it down upon your heart, O Muhammad, that you may be of the warners in a clear Arabic language. And indeed it is mentioned in the scriptures of the former peoples. And has it not been a sign to them that it is recognized by the scholars of the children of Israel? And even if we had revealed it to one among the foreigners, and he had recited it to them perfectly, they would still not have been believers in it. Thus, have we inserted disbelief into the hearts of the criminals. They will not believe in it until they see the painful punishment. And it will come to them suddenly, while they perceive it not. And they will say, May we be reprieved. So for our punishment, are they impatient? Then have you considered, if we gave them enjoyment for years, and then there came to them that which they were promised, they would not be availed by the enjoyment with which they were provided. And we did not destroy any city except that it had warners as a reminder, and never have we been unjust. And the devils have not brought the revelation down. It is not allowable for them, nor would they be able. Indeed, they from its hearing are removed. So do not invoke with Allah another deity, and thus be among the punished. And warn, O Muhammad, your closest kindred. And lower your wings, show kindness to those who follow you of the believers. And if they obey you, then say, Indeed I am. And if they disobey you, then say, Indeed I am disassociated from what you are doing. And rely upon the exalted and the merciful, who sees you when you arise, and your movement among those who prostrate. Indeed he is the hearing, the knowing. Shall I inform you upon whom the devils descend? They descend upon every sinful liar. They pass on what is heard, and most of them are liars. And the poets, only the deviators follow them. Do you not see that in every valley they roam, and that they say what they do not do? Except those poets who believe and do righteous deeds, and remember Allah often, and defend the Muslims after they were wronged. And those who have wronged are going to know to what kind of return they will be returned. Glory be to Allah, and peace and blessings be upon the prophets and his messengers.